Hello and welcome to the sickness recording demonstration. My name is Melanie and I'm one of the HR Systems Administration Assistants. The purpose of this demonstration is to show you how to correctly record a sickness absence in ESR. This demonstration is intended for managers and supervisors who have already undertaken the full supervisor self-service access training, and it is not a replacement for the aforementioned, which must be completed before the access can be given. Access to record absence and appraisal information should be requested by your manager via email to HR Systems. This demonstration is for managers and supervisors who record sickness in ESR only. If you are using the eRoster system, then you should contact the eRoster team for training. MS Teams is not perfect, so you may find during the demonstration that you're not able to see some of the pop-up boxes that I select in ESR. However, I will explain what information is in there and you'll have full functionality of this in live. So I'm now going to begin the demonstration by logging into the training environment. So when you access your ESR, you would select your supervisor self-service access. In the middle column, underneath My Team Personal Information, you would select Absence. This will then take you through to your hierarchy. So this is where you would be able to see all the employees that are sat underneath you in ESR. If you can see a plus sign besides anybody's name, it means that they're supervisors in the hierarchy too. And if you click on the plus sign, you'll see that it expands the hierarchy and it means that you would be able to record sickness absence for anybody you could see underneath them as well. So to start the sickness recording, you'd select the employee that you wanted to record the sickness for, and you would go across to the action column and click on the little green arrow. That will then take you to your absence summary screen. So in here, you would be able to view any previous absences that the employees had, but it's also where you would go to create a new absence. So to start your absence, you would click on Create Absence, which would take you to the absence details screen. Where it says absence type, if you click on the arrow, and then you would select sickness from the list. You'll see then you've got a level 1 reason with a magnifying glass at the side. If you click on that magnifying glass, you get a pop-up box and it says search by level reason 1, and there's a go sign in a blue box. If you click on that go sign, it will then load your absence reasons. So there's 25 absence reasons in total. There is 2 that we ask you not to use. They can be found at the bottom of the list, and it's S98, other known causes not elsewhere classified, and S99, unknown causes not specified. The reason we ask you not to use these is because it affects the local and national analysis of sickness data, and it doesn't tell us anything about why the employee is absent from work. So to select your absence, you would find the most appropriate absence reason. And at the side, there's a quick select column with a little orange computer screen. So you would find your absence and click on the little orange computer screen, and that will automatically load this into the level reason 1 field. You would then repeat the same process for level 2. So you would click on the magnifying glass, select go. Now level 2 reason goes into a little bit more detail. So you would need to select the most appropriate level 2 reason by clicking on the little orange computer screen at the side. This will automatically load into your level 2 reason field. Your duration, if you go to the calendar icon, this would be the first day that the employee is absent from work. At this point, you wouldn't go any further with the absence until the employees physically return to work. So even if they say to you, I've got a 24-hour bug, but I'll be back in work tomorrow, you wouldn't close the absence until they've physically returned. So at this point, you would click on Submit, and that will take you back to your absence summary screen where you can see that your absence is opened, but there's no end date there. So when you're ready to close the absence, you would select your supervisor self-service access. You would click on absence in the My Team personal information category. That'll take you back through to your hierarchy. You would then use the little green arrow in the action column at the side of the employee you wanted to update, and that will take you back to the absence summary screen. So when you get to this screen, you'd find your absence and you would click on the update column on the little pencil. That will then take you back to your absence details screen, and you would go to the end date and click on the calendar icon. Now, it's important to remember that the end date of the absence is not the day that the employee returns to work. So if your employees return to work today, the end date of the absence will be the 3rd of November. You would then click on Calculate Duration. Now, for sickness absence, the total duration is always displayed in calendar days, and it's the agreed national format. So whatever number appears in that box, please do not change it. Hours lost. So this would be the contracted hours that the employee has been absent for. So in this example, I'm just going to use 15. Sessions lost, that's for anybody who's employed on a sessional basis rather than an hourly basis, but refers to doctors and consultants. So if it's not applicable, then you would just leave that field blank. Working days lost, this is the contracted days that the employee has been absent for. So in this example, it would be 2. The AFC first period and last period fields can be left blank because we don't use them for sickness recording. Work related, if you click on the magnifying glass and select Go, you'll see that you get a yes or a no option. Now, when we say work related, we mean as a result of industrial injury. If your employee has been to the doctors and they've been signed off on the sick with stress because of their job, then this would not be classed as a work-related absence. If you're ever unsure whether the absence is work-related or not, I would advise you to populate the field with no and check with your HR advisor. This is because this field is pay affecting. Third party. So you only need to complete this field if it's applicable. Your options when you select the magnifying glass and click on Go are road traffic accident or other. So unless you're recording that type of absence, just leave that field blank. Disability related, again, you've got a yes or a no option. So is the employee off due to a disability that they have? And again, you would need to select the appropriate answer. You've then got violence and aggression. So if you click on the magnifying glass, select Go. What we mean by this one is if the employee was assaulted by a patient and they were off sick due to this, or if they'd been assaulted by another colleague. So again, you would select your appropriate answer and it'll automatically load into the field for you. Notifiable disease, so this is anything that's required by law to be reported to the government authorities. So you're talking swine flu, Ebola and coronavirus. So if you're recording a sickness absence related to coronavirus for your employee, then you would need to populate this field with yes. Otherwise, it would just be no. You've then got return to work discussion date. So no absence should be closed in ESR without a return to work occurring. This is a good opportunity to sit down with your employee, check that the reasons for absence are correct, see if there's any special measures that need putting in place to enable your employee back to work, and ultimately to check that they are fit to return. So you'd populate this field with the date that you completed the return to work paperwork. The paperwork should be scanned through to the HR help desk. They will check that all the information on the form is correct and that it matches what's been recorded in ESR. If there is any discrepancies, they will return it to you for amendment. If everything's okay, then the paperwork will be placed on the employee's personal file for future reference. Occupational health referral date. So if you've referred your employee to occupational health as a result of this absence, then you would enter the date that you made the referral. If you've not referred the employee to occupational health, then please leave the field blank. HR intervention. So if you click on the magnifying glass and select go, you're presented with a yes or a no option again. So this would be, have you got your HR advisor involved in the absence? So this may be that the employees hit a trigger which would involve HR. If you've answered no to that question, then the next two fields you can ignore. If, however, you've answered yes, then you would need to complete the date that you involved HR, and you would also need to select the appropriate HR advisor by clicking on the magnifying glass, selecting go, and then you'd go down the list until you've found your HR advisor. Click on the quick select column and it will automatically load into the field for you. Final interview date. So if the employee was dismissed as a result of their absence, or if they decided to leave the trust, then this date would go in here. Surgery related. So is the employee off work due to surgery? And again, you would just need to answer the question yes or no. The related reason field, if you click on the magnifying glass and select go, if you're recording an absence for the employee related to coronavirus, then you would need to populate this field with coronavirus COVID-19. If you're not recording a coronavirus absence, then you would just need to leave that field blank. Assessment date. We do not use this field, so please leave it blank. You've got a comment section here where you can add any further information. However, you need to be careful what you put in there because the employee can see it on employee self-service. You've then got a create evidence section. So if you click on that, in here, you can record any evidence of any contact with the employee, whether this be over the telephone or via a meeting or any paperwork that's sent in relation to the absence. So say, for example, you had a telephone call with the employee, you could put the date that you had the telephone call. You could just put telephone conversation in the source type and then a brief description of what's been discussed in this field here. If you're sent any paperwork in relation to the So a sick note or a self-certificate, you cannot upload any documentation to ESR. However, you can record the details of what's on the paperwork in this section. If you've got a fit note, you can put the predicted fitness return date in that field there. That means that you'll receive a workflow notification when it's due to expire, so that it just reminds you to chase another fit note or to contact your employee to see what their intentions are. If they've self-certified themselves, you would tick the little self-certificate box there. Any paperwork should be scanned through to the HR help desk, and they will place it on the employee's file for future reference. This field, you do not have to wait until you are closing the absence to add all the evidence. You can keep coming in and out of the absence just by clicking on the little pencil at the side of the absence. You would ignore all the questions that we've just run through before. So you'd come straight down to the evidence section, add whatever evidence you need to add, and then you would click apply. You would then click submit and it would take you back to your absence summary screen. You can keep coming into the absence as many times as you like to add the evidence. So when you've closed and you've completed all the information, you would then click on submit. This will take you back to your absence summary screen and you'll be able to see there you've got an absence start date and an end date. Now, as a trust, we are monitored on how timely we open and close absences in ESR. So best practice is to do it straight away because it is pay affecting at the end of the day. However, we realise that that's not always possible. So the guidance is that within 4 days of the employee ringing in sick, the absence should be opened in ESR, and within 4 days of them returning to work, the absence should be closed. We are asking for all types of coronavirus absence to be recorded straight away because we have to provide Public Health England with reports on a daily basis and the information's taken directly from ESR. So it's important that this information is kept up to date. So that is your sickness absence recorded. If you have any queries at all in relation to this demonstration, then please do not hesitate to contact the HR systems team. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your time today. Thank you.